Yo, yo, hello, hello. We are back once again. We are back once again. Do do do. Doodly doo. Today is day 24. Gotta turn on the lights. Oh. Um. Oh man. I think I left my camera on since last stream. Hello. Hello. Welcome back. Let me open up Twitch chat. Twitch chat. Do do do. Ooh, I got a new follower while I was offline. So cool. Thank you, whoever that was. Twitch chat. Popping the chat out for myself. Okay. Cool. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Aptitude, aka Andy. And today we're going to be going through chapter 85, 3D Compositing Basics. This is going to be part 3 because such a dense topic, 3D compositing. I want to be using 3D compositing, so I don't want to be missing anything. I want to cover this stuff in detail, which means playing around, going through the sections, reading it through, testing it out, getting real familiar, because 3D compositing is cool. And I want to learn how to do it properly. So we're taking our time going through this section. We are on page, I think it was, 1731 here, materials and textures. This is where we left off yesterday. Let's load up Davinci Resolve. And let's get rid of Honkat. We're no longer confused. Feeling good today. Part 2 and new project. This is day 24 3D part 3. New project here. We can make a new fusion comp. Do this trick. Still not sure if it's necessary, but it works. And here we are. Woo! Let's start with the regular bunch here, which would be Shape 3D. We can get, what's an ICO? What the heck? What is an ICO? What? I don't know what an ICO is. Tourist, aka donut. We're starting with a donut here, and then we can get, let's also throw a text in here. What's the theme? 3D. U. Okay. Let's see. We just plop these, we get a merge 3D, just like that. Okay, cool. That's what I wanted. And then we need a camera 3D. Loop that in. And we need a light. By default, what is the default light here? Default is a spotlight, which usually is not the thing you would want, right? You'd usually want just like a point light, or that's familiar. Point light is like the usual default light for 3D programs, right? Intensity, can we turn this up? Yes, we can. Okay, cool. So here we are, select the camera over here. Actually, let's load this up. Move the camera, ooh, that's got the merge, okay, so here. Move the camera back, move this shape, let's rotate it because why not? And let's make this thing bigger radius. Let's see, in this side of things, let's see the camera as a 3D camera, perfect. So let's move our camera even further back. Cool. And then we got our shape 3D. Oops. Oops. Can't move the shape with that. Oh, that's the shape 3D. Okay, just kind of trying to center that. All right, and then we can, what is it? Replace material 3D. I want to add that here, and then with this we can add a our favorite shaders. What was it? Shader toys. Where was that? Tools. Here it is. My new favorite thing. Object fractals. Now we want kind of like a abstract. Can't go wrong with rainbow. Rainbow slices always works. Perfect. That looks awesome. Same with the text 3D. We could replace or add a replace. I don't know if it works this way with the text 3D, but let's try. Just plug that in. All right, we got some cool looking thing here. Why did my camera go off? The camera. What happened to my camera? Oh me. Camera off. It's probably mad at me because I left it on all yesterday. All day. Oh, that's so dumb. That was a dummy. That was silly. Sorry, camera. Okay. Sweet. All right, but we got kind of like a setup here. Looks ugly, but what was it? Usually like kind of like this. What is this? This is a replace that. This. Kind of like this up here, I guess. What's a layout that makes sense? I don't know. Whatever. That looks cool. Save this. Okay, cool. Let's hit the books here. Hitting the books. Okay. Sweet. All right. Hitting the books. Materials and textures. To render a 3D scene, the renderer must take into account the shape of the object as well as its appearance. The geometry of an object defines the shape of the object, while the material applied to the object defines its appearance. Fusion provides a range of options for applying materials and textures to geometry, so you can give your 3D objects the surface qualities you want. Nodes that describe the geometry's response to light are called illumination models. Oh yeah, illumination models. So nodes that describe the geometry's response to light. I wanted to give that a try, and my camera went off again. Dang it. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna leave the camera off for a little bit. I think it's charging. Ugh, silly. Silly. That, dang. I'm gonna let it charge for a little. Ooey. Fusion provides a range of options for applying materials and textures to geometry, so you can give your 3D objects the surface qualities you want. Nodes that describe the geometry's response to light are called illumination models. Blinn, Cook, Torrance, Ward, and Fong are included in the illumination model. So let's just throw those on here. And material, Blinn, Cook, Torrance, Fong, and Ward. I got a lot of inputs. Blinn, Cook, Torrance, Fong, and Ward. Okay. So what do we do with those? These nodes are found. We just found them. Most materials also accept textures, which are typically 2D images. Textures are used to refine the look of an object further by adding photorealistic details, transparency, or special effects. More complex textures like bump maps, 3D map textures, and reflection maps are also available. Yeah, so I think once again, it's kind of like bump maps are, would you be doing all this inside of Fusion or what? Materials can also be combined to produce elaborate and highly detailed composite materials. I want to make sure that my camera is actually off so that it's charging. Okay, confirmed off. Because I want that thing on. Each node that creates materials can also be combined to produce elaborate and highly detailed composite materials. Each node that creates or loads geometry into a 3D scene also assigns a default material. The default material is the Blinn illumination model, but you can override this material using one of several nodes that output a 3D material. Some of these materials provide a greater degree of control over how the geometry reacts to light, providing inputs for diffuse and specular texture maps, bump mapping, and environmental maps, which mimic reflection and refraction. Ooh, anisotropic. Carbon fibre. Diamond plate. Material components. All the standard illumination models share certain characteristics that must be understood. Diffuse. The diffuse parameters of a material control the appearance of an object where light is absorbed or scattered. This diffuse color and texture are the base appearance of an object. Before taking into account reflections, the opacity of an object is generally set in the diffuse component of the material. Let's get honeycomb in here onto a donut. Let's get some honeycomb in here. Ooh, what's creator? Okay. Throw another object in here. We're gonna turn it into a sphere. Plug this. I mean, could we just... Okay. And then let's get our 3D material texture. Light, no. Where are the looks, the shaders? We have honeycomb here? Yes, okay, so here it is in shaders, fusion shaders, okay. What's glass dot? Let's see what. Plug that in. Cool, cool. This is the group template. Cool. This is a filter. This is made with fast noise. Ah, and clever gradient. Cool. Neato. Cool. Let's make this donut a little smaller so it fits nicely in the center. Oh, also I gotta move it up, right? Make it here, make the radius just a little bit. Okay. That's cool. That's satisfying. Okay. And what the heck is this for again? Bong. Like, how do these set up? Also, our point light. Where's our point light at? Put this over here. Then if I select the point light. Okay. And it's enabled, but currently we gotta go into the merge or the renderer. Oh, I never made a renderer 3D. Oops. Renderer. And then we go into the hardware renderer and turn on lighting. Oh, it looks kind of cool. That looks pretty sweet. And we can add a an ambient light, right? Go up here, light, ambient. Ambient's the one that does, or was it directional? I think it's ambient, right? Ambient, yeah. The name ambient. Doesn't matter where it is, just kind of helps with lighting everything. The shadows. Cool. We could change the ambient light to something. Whatever. Like a blue. Okay. Blue matches my face lighting in the, if I had my camera on. Cool. Cool. And then these fongs. What do we do with the fong blend cook torrents? I gotta see like how to use that. Diffuse. All right. So what the heck? What do I do with blend? To render a 3D scene, the renderer must take place into account the shape of the object as well as its appearance. The geometry of an object defines the shape of the object, while the material applied to the object defines its appearance. Fusion provides a range of options for applying materials and textures to geometry, so you can give your 3D objects the surface qualities you want. Nodes that describe the geometry's response to light are called illumination models. So do I ploop this like here? Did that do anything? It looked like maybe something just happened. Because it's not in. What? What? Maybe it's supposed to plug like this? Oh, okay. Oh, is something happening? What the heck? What? What in the... Why does this camera look so huge? Oh, also, this camera's kind of got... What's this, like, depth? That's, like, too far. Or unnecessary, right? We can change that by the angle of view, focal... What brings that back? What the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? It must be the... adding the blend. So we turn blend off? What? Okay, let's switch blend out by ward. Huh? 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 Okay. Okay, I'm missing something. Missing something about these Fong blend ward. And it's got so many of these inputs. Oh, it's for material. So maybe it's a, oh, and it's a bump map. Oh, I think I know. I think I know what this is for. Replace material. Maybe it's kind of like in the place. Yeah, I bet it's like that. It's supposed to be here. Ooh, maybe that's how you can get like stuff happening. What? Huh? 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 What? Okay. Can't get hung up, but gotta keep moving. Gotta keep moving. So let's check this out. The material components, the fuse, we've got the fuse alpha. So we do have this glass dot here. Do we have diffuse? Is this, does this have an example of using one of those things altogether? Ward, we do. We have a ward node right here. Ward 3 underscore 2 underscore 2 underscore 1 get it. Kind of ridiculous names. Sweet. Okay, but we do have it. So the way this is used. Oh, cool. Oh, that's cool. So this texture 2D, which is this, right? Yes. This is used as the texture, which is then, so it's a texture 2D, which is then input to the, as the color material and the specular intensity. Okay, let's see if the camera got some juice. Looks good, it's not blinking anymore. So, okay, so where are we? Diffuse. Diffuse is the color, the base color. And you can set the opacity here too. And then we got the alpha. The alpha parameter defines how much the object is transparent to diffuse light. It does not affect specular levels of color. However, if the value of alpha, either from the slider or a material input from the diffuse color, is very close to or at 0, those pixels, including the specular highlights, will be skipped and disappear. Opacity. The opacity parameter fades out the entire material, including the specular highlights. This value cannot be mapped. It is applied to the entire material. There is specular. Let's just read this stuff. The specular parameters of a material control the highlights of an object where the light is reflected to the current viewport. This causes a highlight that is added to the diffuse component. The more specular a material is, the glossier it appears. Surfaces like plastics and glass tend to have white specular highlights. Oh, okay. So this is like how shiny or not shiny. Surfaces like glass and plastic tend to have white specular highlights, whereas metallic surfaces like gold have specular highlights that tend to inherit their color from the material color. Specularity is made up of color, intensity, and exponent. The specular color determines the color of light that reflects from a shiny surface. Specular intensity is how bright the highlight will be. The specular exponent controls the fall off of the specular highlight. The larger the value, the sharper the fall off, and the smaller the specular component will be. Okay, absorb this into your mind. Left to right, white, complementary, and matching specular colors. Transmittance. When using the software renderer, the transmittance parameters control how light passes through a semi-transparent material. For example, a solid blue pitcher will cast a black shadow, but one made of translucent blue plastic would cast a much lower density blue. So that's like shadow casting. Transmittance is in. Man, Davinci Resolve Fusion's got the whole thing. The transmittance parameters are essential to creating the appearance of stained glass. Tip: you can adjust the. Oh no, my camera's blinking. Might lose it again. You can adjust the opacity and transmittance of a material separately. It is possible to have a surface that is fully opaque yet transmits 100% of the light arriving upon it. So in a sense, it is actually a luminous / emissive. Oh, so you can get a luminous emissive surface. Transmissive surfaces can be further limited using the alpha and color detail control. Got attenuation. The transmittance color determines how much color is passed through the object. For an object to have fully transmissive shadows, the transmittance color must be set to RGB 111, which means 100% RGB passes through the object. Setting this color to 100 means that the material will transmit 100% of the red arriving at the surface, but none of the green or blue light. Alpha detail. When the alpha detail slider is set to 0, the non-zero portions of the alpha channel of the diffuse color are ignored and the opaque portions of the object casts a shadow. If it is set to 1, the alpha channel determines how dense the object casts a shadow. Note, the OpenGL renderer ignores alpha channels for shadow rendering, resulting in a shadow always being cast from the entire object. Only the software renderer supports alpha in the shadow maps. Oh yeah, that they did mention that that it's recommended to do exports as software. For exporting, it's better to use software renderer. That might just be a thing for that. I mean, yeah, that's probably a Davinci Resolve Fusion thing, nuance. The following examples for alpha detail and color detail cast a shadow using this image. It is a green to red gradient from left to right. The outside edges are transparent, and inside is a small semi-transparent circle. The alpha detail set to 1. The alpha channel determines the density of the channel or the shadow. And then here is alpha detail set to 0. And we get just a dense colored, weird looking shadow. Color detail. Color detail is used to color the shadow with the object's diffuse color. Increasing the color detail slider from 0 to 1 brings in more diffuse color and texture into the shadow. You see? Tip: the OpenGL renderer will always cast a black shadow from the entire object, ignoring the color. Only the software renderer supports adding color to the shadows. Again, the nuance, software nuance. Saturation will allow the diffuse color texture to be used to define the density of the shadow without affecting the color. This slider lets you blend between the full color and luminance only. Transmittance and shadows. The transmittance of an object's material plays an important role in determining the appearance of the shadow it casts. Normally, the transmittance behavior is defined in each object's materials tab as explained above. However, selecting Force All Materials Non-Transmissive in the Spotlight Inspector overrides this, causing the shadow map produced by the Spotlight to ignore transmittance entirely. Okay. Illumination models. Now that you understand the difference between the different components that make up a material or shader, we'll look at them more specifically. Oh yeah, this is what I was confused. Wanted to know more about. Illumination models are advanced materials for creating realistic surfaces like plastic, wood, or metal. Each illumination model has advantages and disadvantages, which make it appropriate for particular looks. An illumination model determines how a surface reacts to light, so these nodes require at least one light source to affect the appearance of the object. 4 different illumination models can be found. That's what I'm talking about. They all Okay, so I'm gonna look at this real close for a second because I don't really see at a glance much difference. Standard. And then this is blend. And then this is Fong. I see some difference here actually in the shadow to with the backlighting or whatever this is. Again, in the backlighting here, this looks a lot more rough. For whatever reason, this one, the blend, made me think of more of a cartoony cell shading type, or just a cartoony sort of lighting to it. I don't know why. And then there's Ward, or Cook Torrance, which I think has got a pretty rough looking backlight or whatever this side light is. The softer, it's softer here though. I would say this looks better. Subjective maybe though. And then there's the Ward here, which is even got kind of a angular highlight. Okay, whatever. Whatever. There's standard. So what did they explain this as? The standard material provides a default blend material with basic control over the diffuse, specular, and transmittance components. It only accepts a single map for the diffuse component with the alpha used for opacity. The standard material controls are found in the Material tab of all nodes that load or create geometry. Connecting any node that outputs a material to that node's material input will override the standard material, and the controls in the Materials tab will be hidden. Material that to that node's material input will override it. So I guess that's saying if you connect this, the default settings will go away, and you'll have like these, which is the blend material is a general purpose material that is flexible enough to represent both metallic and dielectric surfaces. Oh, okay. So like maybe they're better for certain cases. Blend is better. It's flexible, and they're saying it's better for using this for metallic and dielectric. Dielectric. Look up what the heck that is. Define dielectric. A dielectric is a material that doesn't allow current to flow. They are also known as insulators, but the term dielectric is used to highlight their polarizability. Did that answer our question or just raise more? I like how it's like the second. Here, look. This is probably just mine. But what is dielectric for dummies? Okay, let's hit it. Dielectrics are materials that don't allow current to flow. But the way that this is using it in this context is kind of weird. Represent both metals and anti-metals. I don't know. It uses the same illumination model as the standard, but the blend material allows for a greater degree of control by providing additional texture inputs for the specular color intensity and exponent as well as a bump map textures. Then we got the Phong. The Phong material produces the same diffuse results as Blinn, but with wider specular highlights at grazing incidence. What the? What? 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 Grazing incidence. Oh, that clarifies things. Phong is also able to make sharper specular highlights at high exponent levels. Oh god. I feel like this and trying to figure out what the heck was dielectric makes me not trust anything I'm reading. Now I'm real hesitant. Okay. Phong is also able to make sharper specular highlights at high exponent levels. Okay. Then there's the Cook Torrents. Material combines the diffuse illumination model of the Blinn with a combined microfacet and Fresnel. Hey, what's up, Beatty? I'm trying to wrap my head around Phong, Blinn, and dielectric. I'm good. Good. Spent the day printing and cutting and making kits. How are you? Are you back in? Did you win? How was the award show? Where are you? Are you in an airplane? I thought you were up were you just attending? Oh, you were helping to produce the. For some reason I thought you were like up for an award. You were working on it. Oh, okay. Well, hope it went off without a hitch. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense though. I wasn't sure. So how'd it go? It went off without a hitch? Are you in an airplane right now? Tuning in from 20,000 feet. There's the Ward materials. Yeah. Yeah, makes sense. That could be tricky. Uh yeah, how do you account for that? Is it you can export it? I mean, can you make it you deliver it to the platforms the best you can, right? Like you try to meet them at their compression specifications. But it's like a hard battle because they kind of crank it to the max with their compression. How is the recording, or it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? It's all just about the live streaming of it. Or You're recording at 1080, right? Which is a lot better than YouTube, but still not as good as rolling it yourself. Yeah, I can see. And controlling the manifests. I don't know what that means. Controlling the manifests. Broadcast. Manifest manipulation and streaming management. A server-side process of editing the manifest. This can be used to insert a new advert into a stream, replace existing ads. You're always mentioning so many things that make me want to go look into him. The manifest. So this is the manipulation of manifests, which is the process of modifying, manipulating the manifest file associated with a streaming protocol, such as the media presentation description, playlist file. Contains information about the structure, metadata, URLs of media segments or chunks. But that's where like the specifications of the compression live. Oh, so when you're saying like rolling it yourself, meaning like being the broadcaster, so that it's not like you're using YouTube or Twitch, but it's like direct to the website, where it's not really hosted on a platform. It's like right from the source to set up on the site how you want. Yeah, I'm surprised actually that there's not like a VIP broadcasting solution for Twitch and YouTube, or like a professional broadcasting solution, right? Kind of makes it more fair, but but it would make sense if you could. Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Ah, so you can't. You got a partner. Yeah, you got a partner with the. Give them a piece. Yeah. Oh, I actually heard something today that the internet makes like 25 petabytes of data per day. I think we were talking about that the other day. And YouTube is like 2 petabytes. How much is wait, how much is 2 petabytes? What? No, this is that's what we said yesterday. Last time we were like, what? There's no way. That's not enough. But someone repeated the same thing today. They just want a single stream and want to handle the compression themselves. Makes sense. Makes sense. And then just standardize it for themselves. And things still probably are like getting solved. I feel like that might be an option maybe in the future where they give a like not quite partnership stream, but like some option. Like a professional stream, but it's not partnered, but it's still higher quality. Would make sense. Ooh. Ooh, that is exciting. Twitch is in a weird place, isn't it? Twitch is like owned by Amazon, and it's I heard it's like not even close to profitable, but maybe it's probably one of those things where it's not like directly profitable, but like indirectly it is. I feel like they always report stuff. It's like, oh, it's not profitable, but yeah. I don't know. A lot of people use Twitch. Seems to be growing, and then gaming is like an enormous industry. Yeah. We do a lot of streaming work for Amazon Music, and the streaming technology stack they have is very. Oh, that's right. Yeah, they are. They're AWS, the backbone or the bedrock of the internet. Yeah. So if they were to port that over, that'd be extremely useful. Oh yeah, cool. That's another thing that probably will. That's why Twitch is not going anywhere. And it's probably only going to get more investments, and then they'll develop it out this way. But also, 99.9% of people streaming to Twitch don't want to get into that. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's like 99%. There might be like 1% of Twitch. Not necessarily like enormous live events, but like higher quality, bigger quality streams. Plus, there's going to be virtual production. Yo, Rana Joy. How do you say that? Rana Joy Jill. How's it going, man? Welcome. Most people don't have high level encoders that could build out individual manifests. Yeah. Yeah, to that degree. Like nobody knows how to do that. Nobody knows how to do that, but I'm thinking I'm kind of mixing some thoughts here with like bigger production, like higher production value streams. I do see people making like the maker streams where they're kind of setting up multi cameras. I could see a version of that, like expanding bigger and needing kind of a larger setup. Oh heck yeah. I'm gonna check this out. 85% of people streaming the Twitch use OBS to send their stream to it. Looks clean, man. Planar tracking for the win. I'm using OBS myself for streaming. It took me like a couple days. When I first started streaming, all I did for like the first 3 days was read up on streaming and like, I don't know, it took a couple days. I do want to go into virtual production. I do think virtual production, I mean, next step would probably be for having like a um just a streaming PC. Right now I'm doing multi-streaming to just sending the signal from the same computer out to YouTube and Twitch. I didn't know how you could do kind of mesh tracking with the planar tracker in Fusion. Looks passable. But of course, for more control and better results, use Mocha Pro. Streamlabs, it seems like an option. I don't want to use Streamlabs because I didn't want to pay. I just didn't want to pay for that thing. And no, OBS also seemed like more, hands-on. I could kind of set it up to do everything I want. Yo, STEM gamers, what's up? Or it's built on, oh, it's, yeah, because OBS is open source, isn't it? Um, did I get your message? No, but I see it. I see it here now. Which one? Is it on, where did you send me a message? On Twitch? Let me see. No. No, I didn't. My channel, my Twitch. I don't see it, man. Huh. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. My name is Andy, aka Aptitude. I'm going through and checking out 3D nodes, the 3D workflow in Fusion. And right now I'm trying to wrap my head around what the heck this is. For these are like different material processing nodes. Cool, man. Yeah, I stream daily, 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then also not on Mondays, but just Tuesday through Sunday. Yeah, man. Well, I'm pretty much just hanging out. I read the manual, chat with some wizards that have been coming through. But yeah, trying to pick up these sections. Nice, man. Yeah, we're coming to the end here. We're coming to the end of the fundamentals. Then we're gonna get into Fusion page effects. This is just PDF. This is Acrobat. I have not been using this properly, actually. Should have been like doing highlights and stuff. I didn't find out that I could even use highlights or do highlights in this until like the previous, like a couple episodes back, and I haven't been using it much. Just trying to, whatever, just get through it. I feel like if I read all the words, they'll at least, for sure, be somewhere way back in my mind. Yeah, at the beginning, that was like one of the first comments that I got on my YouTube channel. The guy was like, "Oh, like looks good, but why are you using?" I was using like just like the built-in Firefox PDF reader or something. That was like the first comment was like, why aren't you using a PDF reader? I saw I don't know, it didn't show up on YouTube, but I saw the comment and then I didn't see it. But whoever that was, thanks. Seriously, for the suggestion. But who knew? You could do textures and you could set up different lighting, processing. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. Like, when would you do this? When would you use these? Good to know. But like, if I'm using Blender or Unreal Engine, I don't think I ever use this. Unless it's like I need to recreate something or put something into my scene, And I need to use the... Oh, this doesn't... I don't know. Why would I ever use this? Why would I ever use textures? And it's very powerful, but it works great in a compositing state. This is an ancient video. 10 over a decade. Oh, another crazy thing from this stream. I've gotten like, I went through my previous streams and I've gotten like 5 copyright strikes from just putting the visuals on, because I've been careful and I've been muting everything, and they still are giving me copyright warnings on my videos on the streams. Like the other day when I did the Dune one, they gave me a copyright for it. No, for just showing the image, for showing with the music muted. I got a copyright strike. I don't know if it was a strike, but it was like copyright for this section. They said no action was going to get taken, but I was like,
how do we take some footage of water and add some geometry, like some stones and rocks, and have the water actually interact with it, and have the water actually reflect things that are in our environment. And we learned very quickly that we can start stripping out parts of the renders, start using shaders, combining them, and slowly we build up on the original material and using some displace tools.
it wasn't muted. I muted it though. It was like the imagery. It saw it from the imagery. It was already muted.
We were able to generate some of that. And then take a look at the next stages that we had. So the next thing that we said is how do we get
This was possible in real time in Fusion back in 2018. You still can't do this in After Effects without plugins.
Objects to interact. So in this case, we put some objects in the water. So as you can see, the first half has some particles. The second half does not. And basically what we're using particles to displace the shapes of the geometry as they intersect with the water. And this allowed us to find a way to integrate into the system. Now here's an example of how we did that. First we generate a particle system for the wake from an image of foam that was just broken up into a bunch of pieces and applied against a background image, rendered. Then the system was then displacing one image and then using the particle system to feed through the other image. So this is essentially how we designed our wake. The foam, I should say, not the wake. And as an example, all it is that's generating it is an animated line, but that could be something that you render from the top of the scene, say the perimeter of your boat, for instance, or in this case, you know, the letter W, or you know, whatever you want. So that essentially becomes the generator or the source for the particle systems, which then gets put onto the 3D scene. So you can see the effect of the particles laying on there. And now let me give you an example of what that started to look like in our first passes.
So these steps allowed us to complete multiple 240 frame, 300 million plus option simulations.
So as you can see, this is not a simulation. This is the passive water that is fully computed in comp. It's an image plane with displacement, reflections, same thing you would do in 3D, except for that because we have iteration power and we have the real-time capability, we can let art dictate results much faster than simulations. We know what we want, we know what the foam is supposed to look like, so now we can paint what we need, take pictures of what we need and put it where we want, and we don't have to wait for tons and tons of simulations. So now taking a combination of this displacement,
I see what you did there.
using displaced passes with the foam you just saw. Here is some other R&D that we did, where you see the beginning actually starting to form of the water, the shader, the waves, a
All right. Because in my head, I'm thinking like it's underrated, yeah. I'm still trying to figure out like how or what it's useful for. I get there's compositing, and that's gonna be the main thing. And then for this, I feel like what I'm seeing is like there could be kind of like a you know, like drawing the elements on top of kind of like how he's demonstrating he put this the foam on the water. But like bringing together 3D footage, I don't know, there could be some overlap where it's like some processing that gets done in Fusion. Magic. You keyed out 3 small videos in Magic Mask, 5 videos, then 8 in my drive like a bubble gum. Wow, you did 8 videos today? A lot of editing. Oh, 1 video, but still three small clips and 5 Magic Mask. Oh, nice. Nice. So usually about every hour or so, I'll take like a 5-minute break. Since this is like kind of heavy topic sometimes for me, I have to take a 5-minute break. So I'm gonna BRB in like 5 minutes, pick up where we left off. Yeah, reading about textures, chatting with you guys, but I'll BRB. Oh, my camera went off. Damn. How long ago was that? Anyways, I'll be right back. Oh, really? It's been off since? I've been like waving to the camera and like talking to the camera this whole time, and it hasn't even been on. I think that calls for a 5-minute break. Okay. Yeah, I gotta fix my camera or something. BRB. Hello there. Got the camera on. I got a new cord. I think it needed a little more juice, you know? Let's see. Also got a request for some music. How do I do that? Where's the music player? Music. The player. What is it? Yeah, what's possible with Fusion? Oh my goodness, look at this node tree. Oh my god. Oh, no. Uh-oh, I played 1 second of audio. I'm gonna get instantly. Oh no, my camera's already off. Uh-oh. Bruh, what happened? What? Maybe no camera today. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on. Come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, okay. The last chord, this one might work. I think this one's better. Power. Okay. And I'll plug in my light. Plug the list light with this one. All right. This looks like a lot, but it's really not. Okay, it's on for a second. I don't know, this looks like a lot. No, this definitely looks like a lot. I think it's a lot. This is a lot. This is a lot. This is cool. This is really cool. This is sweet. This is like, thanks for this video. Oops. Nightbot. Nightbot. Not again, Nightbot. I told you, Nightbot. It's from 2013. What? So what is this over here? All this. That's the car. Wow. He's modeling the car. Yeah, you could probably, I don't know. I feel like the video like this is he's actually kind of like literally he modeled the whole car inside of Fusion just to be because he can. But I like actually just seeing this section. I like this. Like that sort of it's yeah, like after you've seen it, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, but junk mats. I think because 10 years ago doing that in Maya or Max was super slow and was in a completely different skill set. Nowadays people do everything by themselves. Yeah. Use that for the key. Uh, Computers were super slow. I like this. Just simple effect. I need to set my green screen up. Start recording some stuff. That's what I need to do. I need to do stuff like this. Test shots like this, get my chops up. Oh yeah, the relight. I haven't even explored that yet. And then you actually put another one here, didn't you? That's yeah, that's really fun. Fun to look at. I made something like this in After Effects. Full body, yeah, so you can rig. Yep. I went through, yeah, I did rigging in After Effects before, especially with they have a few tools that are really good. Export it from Photoshop, yeah, like normal. You know what? Check this out. I have to find it. I've got the files here for this character, or well, me. I have the asset here. I could rig this. I need some work though. I have to prep it a little more. Not in the right format right now. But you said you're using wait, what do you say? Yeah, it has the tools and workflow for things like this. And then, by the way, you said you were using UE5. What other 3D softwares are you using besides that? Oh, yeah. So the other thing that I use, I'm kind of in a weird spot, and I'm open to suggestions or. But I have Fusion 360. Before streaming, I learned Fusion 360 because I'm into 3D printing now. And then on top of Fusion 360, I also learned there's this other one called plasticity, which is supposed to be like CAD for artists. Oh, there goes my camera. That's not gonna work with. I think it could, right? What do I have to do? I have to export stuff as I could export from Fusion into. I can't like animate, but I could make the models, and I guess it has to be like hard surface models only. So that's kind of limiting. Yeah, I watch a bunch of the Casey Ferris videos. His are really good. They made it very similar to Blender. The workflow is similar. Does Fusion have polygons or only NURBS? I don't even know. Let's fire it up. Hopefully my computer doesn't explode. My camera's down. This might be a risky maneuver in such a such a situation, but whatever. So I'm mostly using these. But I thought it was cool, like if I could repurpose this stuff, like use it for 3D modeling for 3D printing, and then I like use it also for assets inside of like something that I develop and for use in Unreal Engine. Then export that and put it all together inside of Composite, inside of Davinci Resolve. And then, you know, we got like things happening. You'd have to convert them to polygons to be able to. There's FBX or OBJ, right? No, this would work. Right? It's like using Illustrator files in Premiere. That's a good way to put it. You need to convert them to PDS. But this would work, right? If I export it as FBX or OBJ? Let's give it a try. Which one? Oh. It might have to go. Oh, that's stupid. So I might have to go through some. Ugh. You can, but they are all NURBS. I get it. Yeah. So I might have to run through the what's it called? Smith. Unreal Engine has the thing called what's it called? You know, they have it for Blender and Cinema 4D. Datasmith. right? Maybe they have Datasmith for Fusion. I mean, for yeah, for Fusion. For NURBS, right? It's also USD, right? Isn't that a... Which one is better for 3D? FBX or OBJ? They're like the same, but different, right? I forget which one was... I remember coming to a conclusion. I was like, well, this one's probably the better one to use, but I forget. I can't remember. Oh, that's interesting. So to save it like this, it says that it needs to have, I guess, needs to be converted through the cloud. You can import, export inside Unreal like NURBS or like vectors. Mathematically calculated where polygons are like pixels. That's really interesting the way you're putting that. And there's this other program, which actually I just reformatted my computer so I don't have it installed, but I have it's called Plasticity. And Plasticity is cool. It's like they're trying to be like CAD for artists is how they say it. But it's kind of like a smoother workflow, smoother interface. You tried it? Yeah. Oh, so do you know if that would work for exporting to Unreal? I could download that too, but I'm glad we're talking about this because I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do once I finish the fundamentals. I got to start putting together some stuff. And I was thinking of like bringing more to the stream, like in terms of preparing files or exporting a Unreal footage to composite on stream. That'd be cool. Once you convert NURBS to polygon automatically, it creates messy topology, which makes it harder to work with in certain workflows. Hmm. Hmm. Ah, damn it. Ah, damn it. I wonder if there's a solution here because you see what I'm getting at? Like I want to make models that I could 3D print and that I could bring into Unreal Engine. Yeah, I haven't used Blender very much. I'm not familiar with it. I used Cinema 4D, but I don't want to pay for it, so I feel like Blender would probably be the call. I've used them all. I haven't tried Maya or Max, but whatever. I mean, whatever. I don't want to try everything. Or I could do modeling inside Unreal Engine. I could be like the only person who does that. You can bring the same 3D printable models in UE4, but it gets, yeah. I'll definitely try that. Not right now, but I will try that because I could figure out a workflow where I don't have to like make the same model twice, but so that it doesn't get all messy and like silly looking, with the topology. UE5 has now a plugin for modeling, but Blender, in my opinion, has the best modeling tools. Oh yeah, no, I know, for sure. Blender's looking pretty good nowadays. Blender kind of coming into its own, and it's free. I really liked Cinema 4D. I don't know. Might just get Blender. I had Blender. I mean, I had it installed. I just reinstalled, so it's not showing up here, but yeah, it's good that we're talking about this though, because it's going to clarify like what I need to do. I think I need to test the topology, what it looks like when I export from this place. I want to take a note of that. So check how the when exporting from Fusion as .fbx or and .obj, and then converting, does the topology break? And also check out capabilities with plasticity. Might need to get to refamiliarize with Blender. It's being adopted fast. I know people in big studios are using it. My first 3D software was Cinema 4D. I moved to Blender like after 1 month of using it. Cinema 4D people used to make fun of Blender, yet they copy Blender's UI and icons with their R25 version. Yeah, well, Blender used to suck, right? It used to not be good. I feel like that was only kind of recently that it really kind of got built out. But there's still, I do feel like there are still some like silly nuances. Silly and like you can't intuit these things. You have to like either watch a tutorial or it's like you have to find some obscure tutorials. That's my feeling. It might, no, I mean, but that might be wrong. I might just need to read the manual. What exactly? I don't know. I don't have any good examples. My words aren't carrying much weight. Some things are hidden, but you can search everything inside the software with F3. Okay. Something, yeah. I just no. I mean, because like I did learn Cinema 4D and I was okay with it, and then I remember going into Blender and I was like, why would it be put over there like that? Just thinking that a few times. But again, I don't have an exact example, so you can whatever. I'm not trying to be super critical here. My point was though, it felt like recently they've been updating a lot and it's like fully formed. Oh, and this is nice. Oh, this is nice. This is better than rigging in After Effects. I mean, it's a different software made by different people. The different people though is like Cinema 4D was like a company, and then Blender was open source. But so it was just like behind a few generations, but now it's been kind of updated, and now it's like it feels refined and it's good. I'm not trying to poop on it, but that was just my feeling like several versions back when I was like checking it out, so it's been some time. And even when I checked it out back then, it was like pretty good. Nah, I don't. I mean, well, I don't want to. Whatever. The whole like tribalism of different programs and stuff, I don't really care for. Like, I'm not trying to just even get involved in that stuff. Like, I don't care. Whichever tool does the trick for whoever, it's all good. Yeah, this is nice. It's so nice to see like a bajillion wires going to one node, where you just don't get this type of visual in After Effects. The thing about After Effects though is like there's been so much like love and care and development put into it by the community. Because there's the modeling thing was called Dewick Basel. Dewick Basel. It was like a rigging software, a rigging plugin. What's this? Boolean? What is this? The heck? What is this? Like a weird Boolean modifier thing. Do you know Kurzgesagt on YouTube? Like their whole show is built with After Effects. Uh, they're like I love Kurzgesagt. They're like the best thing to come out of YouTube. I might do this at some point. I have the model. I have like the assets to do myself. And then there's this idea of like green screening myself 100,000 times into a scene. I like this idea as well. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this as a thing, as a project maybe for a future episode. Oh no, bro, Nightbot, Nightbot, no. Night. Wait, okay, maybe I can unban you. Wait, Nightbot. How do I? Bot. Huh? Huh? Oh.
And we submit this. Clips will be fine if you use Nightbot. Now Streamlabs. On Streamlabs, it is on a CloudBot mod tools, then link protection on preferences. Then here we see general and whitelist. If you go to whitelist here, we can whitelist some things. Add link, paste it in here and save it. It also works on Streamlabs now. So now if anybody posts a clip of you or anybody else on Twitch, it will just appear as a link in your
Wait, really?
Come on, Nightbot. You're making this hard. Oh. I see you. Haha. What's up, haha? In on YouTube. Thanks for stopping by. I'm just seeing your message now. Sorry, man. Didn't see you earlier. Trying to get this the chat up so I can see what's going on. Can you try 3D character rigging in Davinci right now? I have the assets. I have a folder here to make this, but I think a little prep would be needed. For example, I'll show you what type of prep. I have the face, but it's on a PNG and it's not a transparent background. So I'd have to, and it's like in the corner here, so I'd have to go through and cut this out in Photoshop. That'll just make the whole process of doing this a lot easier. Can you even 3D rig characters in Fusion? But it brings up the question, why? Why? Why would we? Because I know for a fact that we can 3D rig in Unreal Engine. And if we were going to 3D rig, that's probably would be a better use of our 3D rigging time, is to do it in Unreal or Blender. Yeah, this would need some prep. Can you try? Oh, you were actually. Can you try 3D rigging, character rigging in Davinci? Oh, 2D. Yeah, not today. But there might be future episode. I'll have to prep this. I'll take a note. I'll do it off camera. Where I prep this up. Prep. Prep the 3D or the 2D rig for putting together Cesar Ferris. Oh, cool. On 3D rigging. Yeah, I think it must be possible, right? I think the whole point is that like literally anything is possible inside of um, like inside of this. Like they have the tool set for pretty much anything you want. Except the renderer isn't really good from what I'm gathering. Dude, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to unban you. I don't know how to like turn off Nightbot from screaming. There's one section inside of the, like if I go to Twitch settings, there's a thing that I can like mess around with in. And the setting is not like I turned it off. I basically turned off Nightbot and it still seems super pissed every time you talk. That's not my doing. I'm trying. Unban. Okay. Slash unban. Unban. I think you're unbanned now. Anyways. Yeah, I think you've been unbanned automatically. It was like a 600-second ban. So slash unrestrict, maybe unrestrict. Unrestrict. Rana Joy sure. What? Oh, there we go. There we go. We got it. Success. Let's go. I figured out how to unban you now. So if you get banned, I can unban. But I haven't figured out how to okay, now okay. And you're back. And you're back. I think you're back, right? You're still banned? No, I removed the timeout. Yes. But how can I like take off this is important. I have to figure this out. If I'm gonna keep streaming, I have to figure out how to use Nightbot. There's raid, what is this? Slow off subscribers slash timeout unique slash unique chat slash VIP slash unblock. Oh, slash color slash help. Slash clear is a good one. Slash announce. The announcement is woohoo. Slash Go to nightbot.tv. Nightbot. Here we go. Oh, okay. Timers? No, not timers. Mans. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yes. Excess caps, disable. Excess emotes, disable. We want excess emotes. We want excess caps. Symbols, we want them excessively. Links, we want excessive links. Links have now been words, blacklisted words. I'll leave that one. I'll just leave that one. But I'll turn off all of these until somebody tries to like, you know, tries to mess with it. But should be good. Yes. Yes. Nice. That was big. That was a big development for the channel. We got, what are the blacklisted words? Okay, so like, what is this? Oh, new cinema for, oh, wow. This looks like Blender. What is this? Fluent, a hard surface model tool for Blender developed by, I know, I tried one of these and it was kind of stupid. But that's the real issue, is like what you pointed out, that you can't really export the files from Fusion for use in these 3D programs for rendering, which is surprising. I thought Fusion for sure would be able to export with like perfect topology, because this thing is going to go into something to get printed for real life. I thought that'd be easy. But there's a conversion, right? Oh, you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because sometimes actually I see the topology and it's ridiculous. Yeah. Uh, But so if I have, well, if I have good topology, that's going to be printed nicely, probably. Depends on the slicing, but more or less. It works better that direction. That way, then. Hmm. This was fun to watch. I watched some videos and then I tried it real quickly. But it was like, you need good topology when you're using 3D software game engine because certain tools and workflows is necessary to work with it. Yeah, and like being mindful of the polygon count, and then also topology for the sake of like normals properly, displaying the light bounces and stuff. Like for rigging, you need to keep the topology quads because it would deform. Uh-huh. Same with sub D modifiers. Is that a hard rule? Like if you're doing rigging, you need quads? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Waffling. Not even sure what you mean by that, but okay. There you go. Ooh.
Here, welcome to part 1 of 5 on this series of modeling for the VFX film industry. So, you want to become a modeler and work on all these crazy Marvel movies and everything, and you've been working with Blender and you have all the add-ons possible to do all the crazy Boolean stuff and everything, and you think, I'm ready to go. Well, it's
I'm
not
ready.
that simple, because in the film industry, they are very picky on the way the models needs to be done. Because models will be distorted.
Yeah, I usually watch this channel.
And everything, and they need to be done in a very specific way. And this is what this series is about. I will try to show you everything you need to know, give you a good basis to make sure your models are clean and they can be transferred from one software to another without any problem. So here we go. So let's start with something very simple.
I want YouTube to be at 3x speed.
We're going to do a window frame. We're going to keep it as light as possible with just the amount of detail we need to make it realistic. Okay, so we'll just scale a cube and inset the opposing faces.
How do you do it at 3x? Do you download the video and then watch it at 3x? Oh really? What's the extension? Want it. Dude, I used to try I tried briefly. It was like an experiment. I tried to listen to books at 10x speed. It was an experiment I tried on archive.org. You could play it at 10x speed. And I used to like, I remember I'd like get into a position. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this on 10x speed. I'm gonna listen, and I'd like get into like the most, you know, like when you're gaming, you get into like gaming position when you're trying really hard to game. I'd do that, and I'd like try my best to listen to this book and like follow along at 10x speed. I don't know. That's all. I tried it.
We can now just bridge them. The result is way too simple. Nothing in real life has sharp edges. Well, not that sharp. The reflex of a junior modeler, no offense, will be to add a bevel modifier. Bevels are super important in hard surface modeling, but they need to be done properly. It still doesn't look like a window. Window frames don't have round corners like that. They are made of 4 parts, so let's separate them 2 by 2. Since in this case they won't touch each other, we don't need to make 4 parts. Keep it simple. If you use F, it will fill the holes at each end.
I don't know, like, it seemed like it sort of was picking some things up. I don't know, I feel like I was like, oh, was I really? Maybe. Maybe not.
Same thing for the second one.
Try the other one.
Hey, Blender Bob here. Welcome to part 2 of this series on modeling for the VFX industry. So you've been using Blender, you saw a lot of tutorials, and you have all these plugins to do booleans and crazy operations and can create very complex models. What you need to understand is that in a big shop, your model will travel from one software to another. It can go to Maya, it can go to Houdini, it can go to Mary, it can go to Substance Painter, to 3D Max, to Katana. It's going to be rendered maybe in RenderMan or Arnold or Guerrilla or whatever renderer. And you have to make sure that the model will properly transfer from one software to another. And it needs to be really well done and really clean geometry. And this is where I'm here to help you. So you get the model, you go for your interview, and you present your model, and it looks like this. And just like on America's Got Talent, you get the thank you but no thank you. So what does subdivision do? You would think it's going to take the square and cut it in 4, right? Well, it's not exactly how it works. What it's going to do is to create a vertex in the center and connect the middle of the edges with that vertex. Captain Clark will round the surface, but Simple will keep the original shape, just more subdivisions. And it works the same for the triangle and the end-on too, but we get a problem when we reach this surface. The problem is that it's concave, so when we try to subdivide it, we get a crappy result. It doesn't matter if you use Captain Clark or Simple, it just doesn't work. Look at this, it overlaps on top of each other. You give me a geometry like this, you're going to do push-ups. Easy fix, triangulate the surface, then remove the extra edges, and you get all quads. And you can also see that once it's subdivided, everything is a quad. There are no more n-guns or triangles. There are good and bad triangles. For example, this one is a good triangle because once you subdivide it, it keeps the same area and it doesn't distort. But this one here is very long and stretched. Once you subdivide it, it becomes this. So the difference between this and this is just too big. If your model is not going to get distorted, displaced, or sculpted, then triangles don't matter too much. So what have we here? A bunch of kit bashing parts, and look at them. They look absolutely stunning. They are so beautiful. Don't ask me where I got them. I don't remember. Just Google kit bashing and I'm sure you will find them. The question is, can we use that stuff in production? Well, yes and no. It depends how close you are to them. If you see them from far away, then it's probably okay. I actually used the kit bashing parts on Predator 2 for the spaceship. I was working on a broken version of the ship and I put a lot of that junk inside and it looked really good. Alright, now let's look at the wireframe. Look at this mess. Triangles everywhere. It's a Boolean festival. Look at this thing here. It's completely ridiculous. Look at the amount of polys on that thing. Now you need to understand that these parts were not designed to be seen in close-up. If you want to use these parts in close-up, you would need to bevel everything, which would be very complicated considering the bad topology. And also we cannot smash them, twist them, destroy them, because this is what we do in the film industry. I created a simple rig inside this model, and you can see when I move the bones, it doesn't work at all. It creates a lot of artifacts, and it's not, you see, it's unusable. And if you send this to a Houdini guy for some effects, it's just going to send it back. Do it right. And if you give me a model like this, you're going to do push-ups. Look at this. It's a nightmare. Eventually, I will make a clip to show you how you can clean up all that junk and make it usable as a hero model. I was surprised by this part because it strangely looks like a bicycle pedal that I did a few months ago. If you take a close look, you can see that this model wasn't designed to be seen in close-up because all the edges are really, really sharp. And if you try to subdivide it, well, it's not going to work because the geometry is not designed for that. You see, it just doesn't work at all. This is mine. You see, it's not even subdivided yet, but you can see all the little details on the edges here, the little bevels everywhere. This is what makes it realistic. You can see the holes here, they only have 6 sides, but once you subdivide the model, it looks perfect. Look at the tiny edge here. It's a little bit rounded. This is the kind of stuff you are looking for. Now, how does it distort? Let's check it out. Look at this. It just works perfectly. It bends, it twists, everything, no problems, no artifacts. This is what is expected from a hero model. And also, you could sculpt this geometry, no problems, it would work very well. It does have a few triangles here and there, but they are good triangles. Even if the model doesn't distort, you may want to use only quads. This is a good example. Here you have a big n-sided poly, and it's concave. So if you bring this to Mary for texturing, it's not going to work because Mary doesn't support n-sided polys. So you could triangulate it and say, well, I'm going to give you a different version with, a bunch of triangles in it. But in a big shop with 350 people, you cannot start doing custom models for the texture people. You need to publish your models, you have to go through sanity checks and a lot of it's complicated. Just make it clean to begin with. Now for your Boolean lovers, if you think this is too complicated to be done in quads, I will show you how it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Just select your polygons, loop tool, circle, extrude, and you are done. Thank you. Have a good day.
And that's all I have to say about that.
And that's
Cool. That's good. No, I was into that. That's good. That's good. I don't know this stuff. I don't know. I know of it, but I didn't. It's good for me to learn up on that. It's a known unknown. I know properly designing models is good. You'll get good results. Is this the importing? Oh, the workflow. Uh-huh. I know. And then also if I use Fusion and CAD, then it's like I'm kind of exclusively using it for hard surface modeling. Because you can't like make people in Fusion. But it's for geometry, like I could probably model pretty much everything except for characters though. But also I wouldn't have texturing. Sort of. You could sort of get textures, but not really. Then how are you gonna? Yeah. Oh, and that's a whole process. I don't know how to UV unwrap yet. I know what it is, but I don't know. I don't know the process or the workflows for those things. It's very messy. The software is gonna die. Yeah. Okay, well, maybe it's time to revisit Blender. Or maybe I need to get better at sourcing presets. Maybe I need to source some Kid Bash things. Depends on where I want to go with this, I guess. If you're going to be using it for UEFI, then I'd recommend not using Fusion. Damn. But I want to. I want to use Fusion. I want to make one model. And then 3D print it. And then bring it into Unreal Engine. Set up a scene. And model it. And animate it. And light it. And then make it commercial. And then sell that thing as a 3D print product. That would be dope. You can model like plasticity in Blender as well. There are cheap plugins for that. You can also 3D print from Blender as well. Yeah, I wonder if now, since I kind of am familiar with Fusion, it might be a good time to revisit Blender. Because like I know he mentioned it too in the video that we just watched, is like there's some things that you need to know to do for 3D printing that I could add. Just like, you know, adding a fillet of a certain degree, like a certain amount. You can import models from Fusion in Unreal Engine, but how are you gonna texture and shading? Well, I mean, in Unreal you can set up shading and bump maps and everything in UE5. I could do that in UE5. That part. No, it seems like it's gonna be Blender though, I think. I gotta refamiliarize myself with that. Is that right? We'll see. Let's see. You'd need UVs for that, and you can do procedural texturing, but it gives less control. What are UVs again? That's like the map of the of how the texture is laid down. Okay. The mapping of the texture, yeah. The flat surface representation of a 3D model used to wrap the texture. The process of creating UV map is called unwrapping, which is done by using 3D modeling software. The letters U and V are used to define UV mapping because it signifies the axis of the 2D texture on the UV grid. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. So he sets it. Oh, so he sets this stuff up in Blender. But even this, I would set up in. See, but this I would set up. I could set up in Unreal. For blocking, especially. Oh, and then you export as USD. I mean, what good is blocking in Blender compared? You can do most of the stuff in UE5, but in Blender you get a bit more control. You can edit the geometry in Blender. You can't do that. Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like the workflow would make more sense to do blocking initial things, and then you kind of like go into Blender to create to develop the assets, and then re-import it to Unreal. I mean, I guess I guess this step is just because I'm more comfortable right now in Unreal Engine, but I also think it would be like for blocking, you can kind of like set the animation as well, and it's really smooth playing back. You can do most of this, then export it to UE5 for light and render. Yeah. Blender. Got to turn on virtual production. Cool. Oh, I've never done this. This is a dynamic link, isn't it? So it's like you actually have Blender open. It's like reading it through Blender. Oh, this is cool. Yeah, this is like actually Blender is open, and if he makes a change in Blender, right? It's connected. I saw this hooked up once before. Like for texturing, IK Blender, Inverse Kinematic Blender has tools so I can bake the textures and turn the procedural texture into image textures for use in UE5. Yeah, no, this is cool. This is legit. This is something I never played around with. I never hooked this up properly. When I was using it, it's called Datasmith, which was basically exporting it so that you could open it in Unreal Engine. But this is actually linking the things. Oh, okay. That's why I said it out loud. You said IK. Okay, wait, so I'll reread. We were talking about rigging before. For texturing, I know Blender has more tools, so I can bake the textures and turn the procedural texture into image textures to use in. But this is cool. This is a USD stage. Yeah, haven't messed with this yet. Overwrite. Is it? Was animating in Blender, the control rigs in Unreal is slow. I've tried using it when MetaHumans came out. Oh, yeah, I don't know about MetaHumans. I don't know. MetaHumans is weird. I don't know what the deal with MetaHumans are. I feel like they came out, it was released, and they're still like sort of developing it, and it doesn't really work yet, or that it's just too, even though they have all this insane like optimization stuff that they do, it's still just like too much processing for most normal computers. I think it's a bit of both. Where like the user interface is like still not quite developed out, and then also it's really large files to work with, like heavy for computers to process. Epic Games are putting a lot of money or a lot inside of UE5, and it's super powerful, but like it's not It's not gonna add a lot of stuffs. Huh? Oh. It's not gonna what? It's gonna who? Oh, it's not good at a lot of stuff. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. It's just so dense. It's got so much to it. Ziva. Oh, by Unity? Yeah. No, MetaHumans is cool. It's just I gotta revisit. Honestly, I haven't done Unreal Engine for a while. I spent like I don't know. There's a while that I was super into Unreal Engine, and I got like I feel past the learning curve of like past the beginner learning curve, and then that's kind of where I left off. I made actually there's quite a few projects I made in there. For Unreal Engine 5, when Unreal Engine 5 came out, that's when I dove into it. But really, I'm still like this Davinci Resolve stuff. What I'm doing in Davinci Resolve, I'm trying to get familiar with like properly compositing so that I can bring Unreal Engine stuff. I can export it. I can work in Unreal Engine and then bring it all together like properly and make it look good. I don't actually I'm still not totally sure if the USD is here we go. Yeah, that's like a quick connection, right? Like it's linked. Before UE5 came out, there was one software I was really fascinated with. Too bad they went out of business, but they were used in a lot of movies and it had no polygonal limit. You'd have trillions of what was that? Clarice. I never heard of that. Never heard of Clarice. And it doesn't exist anymore? That was a bad polygons cost too much. They thought they could just have trillions of polygons, but it drove them out of business. It bankrupted them. They went over the polygon limit. Oh, really? They used up all their polygons. That's what drove them out of business. They didn't leave enough polygons for us, for anyone else. Are you serious? Really? Can't tell if you're kidding. Have you ever heard of, there's this movie called The Waking, not The Waking, The Wandering Earth? Have you ever seen Wandering Earth? It's like a Chinese sci-fi film. It came out on Netflix, but there was like a certain look to it. And it's just I'm comparing the look of like because it was like a very ambitious Chinese sci-fi film, and they were building out these like massive landscapes. And so I mean, in my head, I'm like comparing kind of like what they were able to do. And it did have kind of like a look that was stylized. But compared to Dune, because when I'm watching Dune, I kept thinking like, oh my God, the landscapes are so grand, looks so enormous. And it makes sense. Like what you're saying is interesting because it's like they used this program Clarice to accomplish kind of that look. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder if the Wandering Earth. Let me see. Let me see if I can find the trailer. Here we go. I'll save. Yeah, like this definitely has like a different look to it, doesn't it? I don't know. This doesn't see because I've seen this now. It's stylized, yeah. Yeah. Like these longer shots, I felt like it had such a unique look to it. That, like these are this all of these. They're like such massive shots, right? Houdini. Yeah. I always wondered what they used for this. There. That's like a look that I've seen in you know, look, like what am I looking at here? Very stylized. It's very stylized. I mean, when I saw the movie, I was like, well, I don't know, that's cool. And it was like ambitious. but it wasn't like, you know, it's not like a Marvel movie. Marvel movies are always like cookie cutter, perfect VFX, but it was like stylized. I was trying to figure out like what made it stylized. Oh, what's your link? The rainforest. Oh, this is a CG. See this? Damn. Damn. It shows. I can see. I can see every single polygon. What kind of computers do you need to render something this massive? A lot of RAM? Isn't it GPUs? Oh, another one of these things. Huh. Render farms are mostly CPUs. Oh. A Threadripper CPU with 1 TB of RAM? But with GPU, you'd need a lot of them to get 1 TB of virtual. Oh, wow. Thread. Oh, damn. Those are. So that's the thing that's. Up to 2 TB of RAM. What's the deal with uh like online render cloud farms? You can fit the biggest CG scenes in that much RAM, but GPU rendering is faster, but it runs out of memory. Oh. So you either have to be like clever with splitting up the scene or make some budget cuts, right? Or what's the deal with cloud rendering. Cloud rendering is kind of render farms if you want to render faster. Instead of bogging your PC for weeks and months, yeah. But what's the thing about this? You have to have you just have to have, like, if you're using any plugins, they have to all just be supported. But the models, that's no problem. Powerful Unreal Engine cloud rendering, the server node. Well, those are regular GPUs, right? Why don't they have like the super crazy GPUs? Right? Aren't these like the consumer GPUs? Are render farms just consumer GPUs packed into a altogether? What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of the new like AI processor chips. I just imagined that like they used stuff like the A100 for at these places. Well, render farm. Just a render farm. Peace, dude. Nice chatting with you. It was fun. Hmm. Hmm. This is interesting. Interesting. Give me all sorts of ideas. Another chill stream. Let's see, we got to get through the 3D texturing, 3D mapping, 3D compositing basics. We left the basics and we went straight into the super advanced stuff, didn't we? But inside of Unreal Engine, let's see, a node that outputs a material is frequently used instead of an image to provide other shading options. Materials passed between nodes are RGBA samples. They contain no other information about the shading or texture that produced them. Composite materials. Building complex materials is as easy as connecting the output of a material node to one of the materials inputs of another material or texture node. When a material input is supplied just as with a 2D image, its RGBA values are used per pixel as a texture. This allows for very direct compositing of shaders. For instance, if you want to combine an anisotropic highlight with a blend material, you can take the output of the blend, including its specular, and use it as the diffuse color of the ward material. Or, if you do not want the output of the blend to be relit by the ward material, you can use the channel Boolean material to add the ward material's anisotropic specular component to the blend material with the greater degree of control. And then reflections and refractions. Environment maps can be applied with the reflect material in the 3D material category. This node can be used to simulate reflections and refractions on an object. Reflections are direct bounce light that hits an object. Oh, my camera went. Let my camera sleep. The reflections and refractions use an environment mapping technique to produce an approximation that balances realistic results with greater rendering performance. Environment maps assume an object's environment is infinitely distant from the object and rendered into a cubic or spherical texture surrounding the object. The nodes 3D texture cube map and sphere map nodes can be used to create environment maps, applying special processing and transforms to create the cubic or spherical coordinates needed. Okay. To produce reflections with real-time interactive feedback at a quality level appropriate for production environment maps, you have to make trade-offs on functionality when compared with slower, physical, accurate ray-traced renderings. So environment mapped reflections and refractions do not provide self-reflective reflection or any other kind of interaction between different objects. In particular, this infinite distance assumption means that objects cannot interact with themselves. It also means that objects using the same cube map will not inter-reflect with each other. For example, two neighboring objects would not reflect with each other. A separate cube map must be rendered. Yeah, so you're not going to get reflections and reflections. If you want that, you can mess with the settings in Unreal. The reflect mode node outputs a material that can be applied to the object directly, but the material does not contain an illumination model. As a result, objects textured directly by the reflect node will not respond to lights in the scene. For this reason, the reflect node is usually combined with the blend, cook torrents, bong, or ward. Reflections. Reflection outputs a material, making it possible to apply the reflection or refraction to other materials either before or after the lighting model with different effects. Refraction occurs only where there is transparency in the background material, which is generally controlled through the opacity slider and or the alpha channel of any material or texture used for the background material texture input. The reflect node provides the following materials input. Refraction, you get the background material, the reflection color material, the reflection intensity, tint, bump. And a bump map texture is a normal perturbing map for reflections, refractions, vectors. Okay, working with reflection and refraction can be tricky. Here are some techniques to make it easier. Typically use a small amount of reflection between 0.1 and 0.3 Higher values are used for surfaces like chrome. Bump maps can add detail to the reflections. Use the same bump map in illumination model shader that you can combine with reflect. When detailed reflections are not required, use a relatively small cube map, such as 128 by 128, and blur out the image. Ooh, that's a good pro tip. The alpha of refracted pixels is set to 1, even though the pixels are technically transparent. Refracted pixels increase their alpha by the reflection intensity if the refraction is not visible, even when a texture is connected to the refraction tint material input. Double check the alpha opacity values of the background material. Bump maps. We didn't actually play with any bump maps. I wanted to just hook one up. Media in bump map to cook torrents. What? What would this do? Bump mapping helps add details. Oh yeah, let's set this one up real quick. Bump mapping helps add details and small irregularities to the surface appearance of an object. Bump mapping modifies the geometry of the object or changes its silhouette. To apply a bump map, you typically connect an image containing the bump information to the bump map node. Oh, okay, what? Wait. So it's an image. Huh? The bump map is then connected to the bump map input of a material node. There are two ways to create a bump map for a 3D material, a height map and a bump map. Using a height map is an image where the value of the pixel represents the height. It is possible to select which color channel is used for bump creation. White means high and black means low. However, it is not the value of a pixel in the height map that determines the bumpiness, but rather how the value changes in the neighborhood of a pixel. Using a bump map. A bump map is an image containing normals stored in the RGB channel. Normals are generated by 3D modeling and animation software as a way to trick the eye into seeing smooth surfaces, even though the geometry used to create the models uses only triangles to build the objects. Normals are 3 float values, which is normal x, y, z, whose components are in the range of -1 to 1, because you can store only positive values in Fusion's integer images. The normals are packed from the range -1, 1 to the range 0 to 1, 0, 1. By multiplying by 0.5 and adding 0.5, you can use brightness, contrast, or a custom node to do the unpacking. If you were to connect a bump map directly to the bump map input of a material, it will result in incorrect lighting. Ooh. Alright. Fusion prevents you from doing this, however, because Fusion uses a different coordinate system for doing the lighting calculation. You first must use a bump map that expects a packed bump map or height map and will do the conversion of the bump map to work correctly. If your bump mapping doesn't appear correct, here are a few things to look for. Make sure you have the nodes connected correctly. The height bump map should connect into a bump map and then in turn should connect into the bump map input on a material. All right. Like this. Change the precision of the height map to get less banding in the normals. For low frequency images, float 32 may be needed. Adjust the height scale on the bump map. Make sure you set the type of height map or bump map to match the image input. Fusion cannot detect which type of image you have. Check to ensure height quality is on. Right click in the transport controls bar and choose high quality from the context menu. Some nodes like Text Plus produce an anti-alias version in high quality mode that will be substantially improved. that will substantially improve bump map quality. And then if you are using an imported normal map image, make sure it is packed in RGB and that it is in tangent space. The packing can be done in Fusion, but the conversion to tangent space cannot. And then there's projection mapping, but I want to see, let's see if we get, can we get an example here? Media in. Let's use media in. What if we, oh, I got an idea. Right away, trying to do some crazy stuff. You know me. Bump map. And then what was the other one? Torrents they were using just in their example. So let's see. What if we do this? Now we do this. Oh, it's gonna. Ooh, it's cool. It's cool. It works. That's cool. Cool. It worked. Neato. Neato burrito. What if we can we do, oh, we could do some things in here. Well, I just want to see if I can add a transform. Transform. A regular transform, right? Rotate. Doesn't seem to be. Because it's not plugged in. Maybe it needs to be a transform, a 3D transform? Transform 3D. Huh? Oh? Oh? What if I put it here? Here? Huh? Here. What? Huh? 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 Wait, how is this even doing? Wait, how did I even get a ball though? Why do I have a ball? Like, where did that even come from? I didn't set. Oh, because it's kind of like, okay, wait. Oh, I need to add a shape and we'll make a cube. So it will be, yeah, and now, what? Maybe this needs to be here. There we go. Sort of. Oh, that's why. Plug that in. Plug it in. Look. Huh? What? Kind of. Yeah, what? It's kind of cool though. I don't really get what's going on. Let's try bring this over here, make another thing. Instead of cook 4-inch, we're gonna throw in ward. What's that look like? Like the same thing. What if we duplicate this again, put it over here, get rid of this, and put in Fong? Does that change anything? Nope. So, what? Whatever. Whatever. Let's see. Man, I hope I didn't break my camera. I'll be sad if. Using a height map. Using bump maps. So did we successfully, sort of. We sort of successfully set up a bump map. This is like a material. Do we have, is that a bump map though? I don't know if it's a bump map or a true bump map. Yeah. Projection mapping. Let's see this. Let's keep moving though. Projection mapping. Oh, it's already 10. I gotta finish this section today though. Oh, what the? Projection mapping is a technique for texturing objects using a camera or projector node. This can be useful for texturing objects with multiple layers, applying texture across multiple separate objects, projecting background shots from the camera's viewport, image-based rendering techniques, and much more. There are 3 ways to do projection mapping in Fusion. Using the projector/camera tool to project light. When lighting is enabled, a camera 3D or projector 3D can be... Is there a note? Oh. Oh. Wow. Huh? Projector 3D can act as a light with all the lighting features. When camera projection is enabled or you use projector, you can choose whether the projection behaves like a spotlight or an ambient light. Okay, so let's see. Let's get this projector 3D into our scene. Bloop. I feel like I need to add another. I need to add another element in here so we can tell if we're having projector working or not. Turn this into a plane. It is. We ploop that in and ring it this way. Okay, whatever. Then we bring this here. And then what? What? it's working. It's only kind of confusing because I'm using the same rainbow thing twice, but that's actually kind of cool. Pretty sweet. That worked. Huh. The projection. What is the projector? I mean, what's that for? Get tighter angle. Oh, it's like really projecting. I mean, it's going on the back on the donut. That's cool. Let's read about it. It can act as a light. When it's enabled, you can choose how it behaves as a spotlight or ambient light. However, alpha channels cannot be projected. Alpha overlapping projections add together like any other light node. An internal clipping plane at around 0.01 distance from camera limits how close the projector or camera can get to the receivers of the projection. Oh. 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 Oh, that's cool. So if this is like a giant sphere, like enormous, and then we pull it down so it's like we're at the edge. Oh, that's cool. Get a little more angles in there. Oh, this is cool. This is cool stuff. And we could just yoink these. Wait, do I need this too? All right. So project a texture onto a catcher material. If you do not want to work with light sources, you can use the projector or camera as a texture projector to work without lighting a catcher. Whoa. A catcher is required in order to receive the texture and apply it to a material. Only objects using this material will receive the projection. Oh. This offers some advantages like the projection of alpha channels and texturing other channels like specular, color, or roughness. If the software renderer is used, overlapping projections can be combined in various ways via the catcher node. When using OpenGL renderer, one catcher per projector is used, and the results can be combined using another material. Similar to the light projection technique, an internal clipping plane limits how close the projector camera can get to the projection received. Oh, okay. Cool. Whoa. Alright, that's interesting. This is what I was talking about earlier, I think. About how, like, I mean, basically thinking of creative shortcuts to get the effect across and not have to, like, actually render up an entire world with, like, properly designed whatever 24K images of the earth to get, and then like model out an aurora borealis. You could just use projector and be smart with it this way. So this is the camera projection used with a catcher node, example from the older version of Fusion. Okay, yeah, this is older, but this is still gold. Old but gold. What a cool like node setup. But so you got the so it's like the catcher, so that catcher is the 3CA. 3CA, the projector, right? No. Catcher is that its own node? Catcher. Oh, it is. Oh, so it's a node to apply, like a way to apply it to the 3D shape. And this was ran through a duplicate 3D. Same with this. It's the catcher. It's a node that needs to be applied to the shape 3D. And then the catcher for the IS for also the for this as well. Oh, maybe so it could be set to ignore, right? Restrict, yeah, so you can restrict by projector ID, yeah. So you set up the catcher to ignore, yeah, we could test this right now. We actually just put this catcher onto the shape, right? No. Where does this plug in? Here? No. Here? Yeah. Oh, whatever. Whatever. And then what is this? This is the camera, the projector. I gotta use I gotta use the routers. Routers cool. What the pros do, they use routers to make this stuff look sweet. Also to be clear. Project using the UV map node. This mode requires a camera and a UV map 3D node downstream of the objects to which the texture is being projected. In the inspector, when the UV map mode is set to camera, it gathers the information from the camera and creates new UVs for the input objects, which are used for texturing. Because the UVs are stored in the vertices of the mesh, the object must be tessellated sufficiently. Textures are assigned to the object like any other texturing technique. The UVs can be locked to the vertices at a chosen frame using the reference time slider. This locking only works as long as vertices are not created, destroyed, or reordered. For example, projection locking will not work on particles because they get created, destroyed, nor will they work on a cube 3D when its subdivision level slider is animated. Tip: projected textures can be allowed to slide across an object if the object moves relative to the projector 3D, or alternatively by grouping the two together with a merge 3D, they can be moved as one and the texture will remain locked to the object. So use the merge 3D to kind of tie the elements together. In the following section of a much larger composition, an image, the loader 1 node, is projected into 3D space by mapping it onto 5 planes, which are positioned as necessary within a merge 3D node to apply reflections onto a 3D car to be composited into that scene. The output of the merge 3D node used to assemble those planes into a scene is then fed to a UV map node, which in conjunction with a camera 3D node correctly projects all of these planes into 3D space so they appear as they would through that camera in the scene. Prior to this UV map projection, you can see the planes arranged in space. At left, where each plane has the scene texture mapped to it. At right is the image after the UV map projection, where you can see the scene once again looks normal with the exception of a car-shaped hole. introduced to the scene. However, this is now a 3D scene, ready for a digital car to be placed within it, receiving reflections and lighting and casting shadows into the scene as if it were there. Oh, damn. This is the next level stuff. That's it. This is next level. That's how to get the car into the scene looking like it's in the place. We've got geometry. There are 5 nodes used for creating geometry in Fusion. We got the cube 3D. Allow mapping of different textures to each of the cube's faces. Oh, that's kind of cool. We got the image plane 3D. The basic node used to place a 2D image into a 3D scene with an automatically scaled plane. The shape 3D. And make all sorts of things. The text 3D and then particles. Common visibility. Parameters here. We got regular stuff. Visible, unseen by camera, cull, front, back, face. What's that? Use these options to cull or exclude rendering of certain polygons in the geometry. If cull back face is selected, all polygons with normals pointing away from the view will not be rendered and will not cast shadows. If cull front face is selected, all polygons with normals pointing away from the view will likewise be excluded. Selecting both checkboxes has the same effect as deselecting the visible. Oh, adding FBX. Wait, what's this last one? Ignore transparent pixels and aux channels. Okay. So let's see this. Adding FBX models. I mean, that's what I was trying to do earlier, or I was thinking of doing from Fusion, but that's... Anyways, the Filmbox FBX format is a scene interchange format that facilitates moving 3D scene information from one object to another. Fusion's FBX format support extends model import support to other 3D files such as Collada and OBJ. So that's just a simple FBX. Huh. Oops, wrong one. Oh, and then it opens up a file explorer on your computer. That's good. That's good to know. It's pretty easy to bring in meshes. I gotta get some meshes. Gotta dig into my files. I gotta reinstall Blender. Yeah. FBX scene import dialog. Just like normal, it gives you the Actually, wait, I want to see this real quick. It says one of those things. You got to make sure that the units match what you're modeling in. An object that was 100 millimeters in size will import as a mass of 100 units. Right. Okay. Well, that's straightforward. If it comes in at super large, probably re-import it at a smaller size, and then you can export a 3D scene from Fusion to other 3D packages using the FBX exporter node. I don't know why you would do that, but you can. And then using Text 3D. The Text 3D node is probably the most ubiquitous node employed by motion graphics artists looking to create titles and graphics from Fusion. It's a powerful node filled with enough controls to create nearly any text effect known to man, all in 3D. This section talks about that. Assembling text objects. Yeah, so I don't actually know how to, I still haven't figured out how to just like get an outline of a text 3D on its own node. When you select the text 3D, let's try that. Let's try this. Text 3D. Text 3D. All I want to do is extrude. Okay. And then for this one, all I want to do is make an outline for it. How do I even make an outline? What the heck? Huh. Let's see. Forbidden. Near the bottom of the text tab are the extrusion parameters, which is the stuff that makes it good. You can add bevels and things. Yes. Bevels. Great. Always fun. Always fun. And you have to add lights to make it basically visible. By default, all text created with the text 3D node is flat, but you can use the extrusion style, yes. And then positioning and transform. You can position and transform just like normal. All this. There's layout parameters. Actually, that's a good one. How do you do that? The layout tab presents parameters you can use to choose how the text is drawn. Let's see. Layout. We could. How did they do that? Center? Nope. Oh. Frame. Circle? No. Path? Oh, you could set it on path? Okay. Alright. And then there's sub transforms. Another transform tab, which the documentation has dubbed the sub transform tab, lets you apply a separate level of transform to either characters, words, or lines of text, which lets you create even more layout variations. For example, choosing to transform by words lets you change the spacing between words, rotate each word, and so on. You can apply simultaneous transforms to characters, words, and lines. So there's transform. You can select one at a time, I think. Can I not? Scale. Nope. I know these are break apartable. Break apartable. And of course, all parameters are animatable. And then you can shade. Yeah. And then you have to light it in your scene. And you can change the specular. And that's the end. Man, I still don't know how to like properly set this up with like, all I want is text outline. Black outline. How do I do a black outline? Hmm. I don't know. Gotta keep moving. Getting late. There's fog 3D and soft clipping. The fog 3D node helps to create atmospheric depth cues. I want to add this. Let's add fog 3D to this thing. Let's go back to this. Let's get fog 3D in here. I think we can add it after this. Wait, I don't want to just here. Fog 3D. Oh, this is gonna be sweet. Uh-oh, did I break it? Yeah, I think I broke things. Nope, no, it's all good. Enable show fog in view. Where's the knob to like turn it up? Exponential, here we go. All right, well, I think it is working, but it looks stupid because, well, the Fog 3D node works well with depth of field and anti-aliasing supported by OpenGL. I think it's actually because of using hardware renderer again. Oh god. Oh. So like the volume fog node found in the node's position menu or fog nodes in node's deep pixel, it does not need additional channels like position or Z channel of color. Furthermore, it supports transparent objects. The soft clip node uses the distance of a pixel from the viewpoint to affect opacity. Yeah, so we can just kind of clip where the fog is coming in. Yes, if we're in linear mode, right? But if we're in linear mode, then we don't have, oh, there we go. All right. That's cool, actually. That's like with the particle system, and they used cubes to show the distance and the stuff. And they got turbulence. Geometry nodes, such as the Shape 3D node, use a matte objects checkbox to enable masking out parts of the 3D scene. Effectively, everything that falls behind the matte object doesn't get rendered. However, matte objects can contribute information into the Z channel and the object ID channel, leaving all of the other channels at their default values. They do not remove or change any geometry. They can be thought of as 3D garbage mats for the renderer. Matte object parameters. Opening the matte disclosure controls uh-oh. So matte object parameters here, just like normal. There's the material and object IDs. The material ID is a value assigned to identify what material is used on an object. Oh, okay. That's how to kind of apply materials easily. Oh, okay. And then you'd organize them on your workflow, on your scene, and apply them that way through object IDs. If I lay out a bunch of materials, I could assign them to different parts of a car, for example, like something that had a lot of faces. There's a world position pass. It's a render pass generated from 3D applications. Each pixel is assigned the XYZ position where the pixel was generated in the world coordinates. So if the face from which the pixel was derived in the scenes sits at 000 or 00, the resulting pixels will have a position value of 000. If we visualize this as RGB, the pixel will be black. The world position pass, right? That's Z depth. And with that, we can kind of figure out some things. We can We can do cool things with the Z-Pass, like depth of field. It's useful for adding in other objects to get a more accurate placement or to make it look more in the same world. This is the world position pass rendering of a scene with its center at 0, 0, 0. The actual image is on the left. All right, so point clouds. Dang, going overtime today. The point cloud node is designed to work with locator clouds generated from 3D tracking software. Okay. All right, so if I have a tracking suit, this is where I'll have to revisit. Tracking suit, yeah. And it's going to have a representation of like where it is in 3D space. And then each of the tracking nodes will be represented on something like this, which will help with constructing a 3D space. It will often generate hundreds of thousands of tracking points. I don't want something with like 100,000 tracking points. But seeing these points in the scene and references their position in 3D in space is important to assist with lining up live action and CG. Yeah. But bringing each point in as an individual locator 3D would impact performance dramatically and clutter the node tree. Yep. Okay. So point clouds will, needs its own space to put all this data. And so that's what the point cloud node is about. Seeing where it is in 3D space, and then that's also going to help with building out the scene and making it all easy to visualize. Point cloud 3D. Filming, naming, and publishing points. Many 3D trackers. Yeah, that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing that it's good to just be aware of. You got to do 3D tracking of names and stuff, but there's software. Hopefully by the time I get that stuff, it's going to be a nice, clean system. Tip: the point cloud find function is a case-sensitive search. A point named Tracker 15 will not be found if the search is for capital T 15. Renaming a point cloud. Okay. All right. And then after it's done, you publish it like normal. And then you can access that as a thing of reference inside of other nodes. And that is the end of 3D Compositing Basics. Woo! All right. And my camera working for a little bit. Oh man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. That was fun. That was 3 days of the 3D Compositing Basics. Up next is camera tracking, 3D camera tracking. That should be fun. And then particle systems. That should be fun. And then optical flow, which I think that's just a small section. Thanks, Emma Chi. Thanks for watching. So tomorrow is off, and I'll return on Tuesday, same time, same place, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. where we're going to pick up with 3D camera tracking inside of Davinci Resolve Fusion. Cool. All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.